Hi, my dear Astro family. Today I have a special guest, Carien, and we are going to be discussing Jupiter and Venus conjunctions in the chart. One of the reasons why we are going to be doing that is because we have got the upcoming Jupiter and Venus conjunction happening on 29 degree of Taurus on the 23rd of May. So Corinne will walk us through what does it mean to have this natal conjunction in your natal chart, and then we're going to shed some light on the transits as well. I'm going to do the transit part. She's going to do the natal part. But I would like to tell you that Corinne is actually a Vedic astrologer. So now we are going to try to blend the two systems because they work well together. But I'm not an expert on that. She is an expert. And there is something fantastic to announce. We are going to be doing a retreat together in June. You can choose from two retreats. One of them is about the depth of relationship, and the other one is your traumas into empowerment. It's going to be taking place from 10th of June or 17th of June, depending which one you want to go with. It's 1,500 euro, but it's all inclusive. We are going to be staying in a beautiful castle, basically in France, near Paris. I think it's about 1 hour away from it. It's very limited to maximum 10 attendees. So if you would like to attend, please send me an email. Tell me that you are interested. We are going to be waiting till 15th of April to see if we have got the right numbers. So please, until then, do not book your plane ticket. Just let me know that you are interested, and I'm going to give you the green light to go ahead. And then we have got the chance to meet you with Corinne in France. She's going to do some yoga for us. I'm going to do some presentations about different type of topics to heal your relationship department, as well as to look at your trauma experiences through your chart. And then she's going to help you to heal those with some healing methods. So it sounds really exciting, and I hope to see all of you there. But let's get going with our topic. Welcome, Corinne. On my channel, you've never been here before, and we have been friends for a while now. So I'm happy to see you.
And just to add on to Victor's introduction, thank you for the introduction. Victor is actually my first teacher. He gave me a solid astrology knowledge. And then from there, because I feel Vedic astrology is actually resonates with me more because I'm a yoga teacher. So that's why a lot of knowledge, the yoga philosophy and also the terminology resonates with me more. But Victor is actually my first teacher. I didn't have any knowledge prior to the course. So yeah, anyone, and then you're not doing this hand in hand like small group, but my experience with Victor was very, very good because I didn't have any knowledge, and he gave me a proper, solid knowledge.
And
So
you
I'm
were a
very
great student. So it's good to see that you are thriving now.
trying.
Let's get started with our topic today. So Venus and Jupiter. I mean, first of all, as I said, there is going to be this conjunction happening on the 23rd of May. Now, we are doing this video well in advance because these are two benefic planets and we can work with them very well, or we can screw them up extremely a lot as well if we become too greedy. So obviously it happens in the sign of Taurus, which is all about financial settings. Venus and Jupiter both represent money as well. So we've got, all of us have got some money opportunities here. So that's why we've decided to talk about Venus and Jupiter, how to use them to your best of your abilities. So I'm going to hand
Yeah,
it over to Corinne, and then she's going to walk you through house by house what they mean.
in the natal chart.
Is in the natal chart, and then I'm going to be adding some information to you from a transit point of view as well. So if you want, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, so not right now, but we're just talking about what is Venus, to establish what is Venus and what is Jupiter, and what is this conjunction when you have this in your natal chart. What is this about? And then we'll go through 12 houses. So Venus is a planet of femininity, and femininity's essential qualities are beauty. So that's why it's associated with sense of aesthetics. five senses, sensuality, beautiful objects, and love, your romantic connection, and marriage. And feminine quality also includes receptivity, like how receptive you are, how much you can cooperate with other people. That's what Venus rules. And Venus is benefic planet because it brings pleasures and enjoyments to life, allowing us to indulge in pleasures. And Venus in Vedic astrology is a teacher. Unlike Jupiter, Venus teaches material pleasures. And Jupiter is a planet of positivity. So that means it grows, increases over time. And it's about, this is why Jupiter is a planet of creation and creativity, because you have tremendous ideas and inspirations that you can produce. So when you have a very prominent Jupiter, I remember Victor's Jupiter is in the 10th house, which is quite prominent. So that's why he has a lot of ideas. So you can have a lot of creation and creating ideas. And Jupiter is also a teacher, gurus, priests, advisors, because Jupiter likes to parent, teach, and pass on knowledge. And Jupiter is a significator of wisdom, happiness, and wealth in Vedic astrology. And wherever you have Jupiter sits in your natal charts, that area of life, it alleviates a lot of stress and suffering, struggles. So that's why Jupiter is a benefic. And so logically, when these two planets, because they are two natural benefic planets, logically, when they conjoin together, it should be good, but actually it's not. Because in Vedic astrology, there's a very important concept. It's called planetary friendship. So each planet, they has their friends and enemies and neutral planets. And this technique is to help us to determine the dignity of the planets. Because in Vedic astrology, exaltation is the strongest one and debilitation is the weakest one. But planets in between, sometimes it's difficult to determine if it's strong enough to bring out the results. So Vedic astrology has several structure technique to help us to determine if the planets is strong enough to bring out the results. And planetary friendship is one of them. And just to give you a very quick example, so you can have an idea what it is about. So Venus has two friends, Saturn and Mercury. So that means when Venus is in Saturn's sign, Capricorn or Aquarius, Venus's dignity is being amplified, delighted. And if we don't consider other influences, just simply see Venus alone in Saturn's sign, Capricorn or Aquarius, Venus is actually amplified in these two signs. And also when Venus is in Mercury's signs, Gemini and Virgo. But Virgo is a different story because Venus in Virgo is debilitation. And of course, you can still read Venus, what Venus means in Gemini or Capricorn. It doesn't conflict to this reading, but just to know that when Venus is in Friend's sign, the dignity is amplified. So Venus has the power to manifest the things that it rules and also the houses that it rules. And Venus has two enemies, Sun and Moon. So I will skip that because that's the same idea. And for Jupiter is no enemy to any planets. In fact, when Jupiter conjuncts any planets, Jupiter would delight, will give power, helps the planet. So when Jupiter conjuncts Venus, Jupiter amplifies Venus's quality and dignity. But unfortunately, Jupiter's enemies, Jupiter has two enemies. One is Venus, the other one is Mercury. So when Jupiter's in Mercury's sign, so Venus's sign, the dignity is actually being starved and compromised. And it's the same when they conjunct together, Jupiter's dignity will be compromised. And also it can compromise what Jupiter means, because Jupiter rules teachers, gurus, spiritual growth, religious understanding, doing the right things. So when Jupiter conjoin Venus together, you might be distracted by a lot of good things and pleasures in life and then not doing the right thing. And also maybe you're distracted from your spiritual growth. So that's why these two benefic planets, when they conjoin together, is not necessarily the best. But when Jupiter and Venus conjoin together, Jupiter can still amplify Venus's quality. So that means luxury items, comforts, and the ability to trade, commercial talents, and the ability to make decisions to higher fulfillments. Because in Vedic astrology, Venus is the planet that can help you to make a decision and take you to the higher fulfillment. And Venus is also a teacher. It's about your counseling skills, sense of aesthetics, artistic talents. So those things will be amplified. Just unfortunately, what Jupiter symbolizes will be compromised. And also when you have a lot of good things in life, sometimes it becomes greed, like you will want more. So that's also the downside of this combination. And it is, but don't think when you have this combination, it's a bad thing, because it is a good combination, can produce a lot of good things in life. Whatever house Jupiter and Venus conjoin together, there will be a lot of luxuries, supports, natural talents, knowledge, and enjoyments. It's just there's a sense of lack in the back of your mind. So you need to pay attention to that. And the definition of conjunction in Vedic astrology
Before you
is...
jump onto that, I just want to make a comment, because many people are asking, which technique works better? Is that Vedic astrology or tropical astrology? And to be honest, I'm getting tired of this question, because both systems work extremely well. But what we need to understand that they work with different principles. When those principles are followed, eventually we're going to get to the same page. Now, Carien spoke about the natural enemies and friendship in Vedic astrology. It exists in Western astrology as well. We just approach it from different ways. So what is common between the two systems is that Carien said that Jupiter does not have enemies, or everyone likes Jupiter basically. And the same is in Western astrology as well, because Jupiter is the planet of assimilation. So he assimilates with others. He doesn't like Mercury, because obviously Gemini and Sagittarius are opposing signs. So while Mercury wants to see the details, Jupiter wants to connect the dots and wants to see the world. So they have got different principles. Now, Venus, what Carien said was that Venus's friends is Saturn and Mercury, right?
Saturn and
Saturn
Mercury friends to
Yeah,
Venus.
so in Western astrology, Venus is friend actually Moon, because of the nature of the two planets. So both of them are cold and wet by their nature. So they have got loads of similarities. Obviously, both of them are feminine expression. One of them is the girlfriend archetype. The other one is more of the wifey archetype. And often, yeah, the challenge is that the transition between or from being a girlfriend to a wife is going to be quite a challenge. It's kind of like the Eve's two faces. Do I want to become a mom, or do I want to become a mother or a lover? And we could have that type of, kind of problem there. Now, how I usually approach these planetary friendships is that if I pick Jupiter and Venus rules two signs, because each signs have got their psychological needs. So Venus rules Taurus and rules Libra. And then if I just pick Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, unfortunately, Sagittarius and Taurus have nothing in common. Different polarities, different element, different gender. So this is what we call as a quincunx aspect in astrology. So yes, what Carien said, that it can lead to greed and it can bring us financial blockages, because we are so optimistic about, let's say, investing money into something without any type of considerations or kind of like gathering enough data and information about what we about to jump into, we just blinded by the greed, then unfortunately it's going to be a disappointment because of that quincunx element. But when we look at Libra and Sagittarius, which is a natural sextile to each other, now from a relationship point of view, and this is how I would approach it from a tropical point of view, it can actually indicate a lot of good things in our life. We might be running into a guru who is putting us on the right path, or we are building some one-to-one connections, or Jupiter and Venus often is the aspect of popularity because we are favored by others. But from a financial point of view, I agree, it could bring some challenges due to its greediness, quite a lot. Now, the upcoming conjunction is happening on 29 degree of Taurus from a transit point of view, which is a money sign, which is a self-worth sign. And that could build a lot of greed that I want to have more and more, and I'm entitled to have money, and then I'm going to be stocking up the shelf with a lot of flowers because the cost of living is rising and so forth. Most likely, I'm going to see that happening in the world in the next few months. So staying grounded is going to be very important with Jupiter and Venus because we can fly off the handle very, very easily.
Yeah, I agree. And also I want to add that I think there's no right or wrong about Western astrology or Vedic astrology. I think it's just what you resonate with, and then they're actually talking about the same thing. If you look at the whole charts, you can still see the same results for the person. And in Vedic astrology, we also use tropical zodiac, not the sidereal.
Okay, so let's move forward.
Yeah, and then the definition of conjunction in Vedic astrology, when planets, they are in the same sign, and we're talking about one sign equals to one house. So we also use whole sign house system. And if two or more planets, they are in the same sign, in the same house, no matter how far apart they are by degree, they are still considered as conjunction. For example, if your Venus is at 29 degrees Taurus and Jupiter is 2 degrees of Taurus, they are still considered as conjunction because they share the same Lord. The Lord is Venus. And if Venus is at 29 degrees Taurus and Jupiter is at 1 degree Gemini, even though it's only 2 degrees apart, but because they are in 2 different signs and 2 different lords, they are not considered as conjunction. So that's the principle of Vedic astrology. It doesn't really matter how far apart they are by degree. They are still considered as conjunction. Now we can go through 12 houses in your natal chart. So if you have Jupiter and Venus conjunction in the first house rules you, your life path, appearance, your look, your body, your ego, your personality. And when you have these two conjuncting in your first house, Venus is a planet of pleasant, like it's a pleasant planet, and it's beautiful and harmony. And Jupiter is positive, optimistic, jolly, and wise. So when you have these two in your first house is your vibe. So you can make a really good impression on people. Like you can be a very nice people, pleasant person, and charming. And first house rules the body in Vedic astrology. So if you have a benefic planets in the first house, the body and health usually is good. Depends on the whole chart, but if you have Venus or Jupiter in the first house, it's a good sign for your health. And because Venus is beautiful, so your appearance will be attractive, appealing, good looking. Perhaps you can have like bigger features because Jupiter is big, like bigger eyes, bigger cheeks, or bigger teeth. And people with this conjunction, they can attract a lot of Venetian things and experiences in life easily. And they also have this ability to enjoy those good things, because a lot of people, when they attract good things, but unfortunately they don't have the ability to enjoy that, But when you have this conjunction sits in your first house, you can. And Jupiter amplifies Venus's quality. So when you have this conjunction, you can be gifted in music, art, design, sense of aesthetics, and creative art talents. And these activities can also have some foreign feel to it because Jupiter is a planet that's associated with foreign cultures. So for example, you might be born in UK, but you have great interest in traditional Indian music. And Jupiter is kind and positive. So part of your characteristics is that you are happy to do good things for other people. Because Jupiter is about doing the right things, and you yourself can become benefic to other people. So when you have Jupiter in the first house, or they are together in the first house. And in Vedic astrology, Jupiter has directional strength in the first house. That means Jupiter is very happy in the first house. And Jupiter is a planet of wisdom and knowledge. So basically, you can be very curious throughout your whole life and you love to learn, not limited to academic pursuits, but you might be interested in learning different things, and learning plays a big part throughout your whole life. And but because Venus is starving Jupiter's wisdom, so the higher mind of philosophy and religious understanding can be compromised with this combination. And also you might face the situations that you need to choose doing the right things or taking all the benefits, because this conjunction still can produce a lot of good things, luxuries and comforts in life. But it is important to bring some awareness to overindulgence. Yeah. That was the first house.
If you have got this transit happening in your first house, because this is going to be talking to us about money making, so I'm going to give some ideas what you can do. It's all about your personal charm. It's all about making yourself attractive. Remember, the first house is kind of like your business badge. So it's going to be very important that you make that business badge somehow presentable. Use your charm, use your personality to accumulate wealth. It's about figuring out your talent, of course. It could be very favorable for working on your self-confidence, to actually get into some type of partnership, to show how beautiful you are, to create a harmonious relationship. And this is a time when you're going to have a lot more positive outlook on life. So just with few words. So let's move on to the second house then.
Okay. The second house is the house below first house. So it supports the body, it supports you. So that's why second house rules family in Vedic astrology, and it rules money, resources, and food, because food is very important to support the body. And second house also rules our voice and speech, also the face. And Venus is a planet of luxury and enjoyment. And Jupiter is a planet. Let me change the. Jupiter is a planet of increase and growth. So when people have Venus and Jupiter in the second house, they can be wealthy with a lot of nice things. For example, like nice clothes, nice furniture, a nice house, like really nice things. And Venus is associated with the second house, sits in the second house. So it does bring a lot of luxurious experiences in regards to the second house. So you can enjoy more good food, good wine, and beautiful ornaments and valuable items. Especially second house is also about items, possessions that you have. And second house rules the face. Venus is beautiful. So when you have Venus in the second house, or Jupiter and Venus together, because Jupiter can amplify Venus's quality. So you can have a beautiful face, beautiful hair, beautiful jawline. And second house rules the voice, and Venus makes your speaking voice pleasant. And you can even have a singing voice with these placements, but it really depends on the whole chart. But if you have Venus just single Venus in the second house, you can have a nice voice. And Jupiter, if you have Jupiter sits in the second house, it makes you speak well because Jupiter is about wisdom. So the depth of your speech is deep. And I've also seen when people have Jupiter sits in the second house, they can speak multiple languages. And usually they are from a bigger family or from a more affluent backgrounds with a lot of resources available for them. And Jupiter in the second house is a little bit mixed because Jupiter is about higher mind and wisdom. But the second house is associated with Venus. So it's more about money, material, possessions, and investments. So Jupiter is not doing so good in the second house by nature, but Jupiter can still bring a lot of wealth and good things in regards to second house, because second house at the end of the day is the house of money, and Jupiter is a planet of growth. So you can still have a lot of good things, wealth and good looking face and excellent speaking skills. So that was a quick introduction.
Okay, so from a transit point of view, if you got this combination happening in your second house, then this is about working on your finances. This is about working on your confidence and on outlook on life. Maybe it's asking you to start a new way to make your financial stability. Maybe it's about exploring your talent. Maybe it's about investing into your talent so that you can accumulate wealth for yourself. Maybe it's about working towards a career growth, or you want to be investing. And from an investment point of view, this is about finance, art, beauty, luxury related fields as well. But also it can bring in the food items as well. So such as you want to open a restaurant, or you want to grow your own tomatoes and then take it to the market and sell those. This is about, obviously Jupiter is the meaning to life and Venus is the money. So finding meaningful ways of making your income that really resonates with your heart's desire. You might have been doing a job that you have hated for such a long time, then this conjunction would ask you to consider starting something fresh, because it's a conjunction and those are about planting the seeds. Some of you are going to have to work on their belief system as well when it comes to money. Probably some money blockages that need to be lifted up, because this conjunction takes place on 29 degrees. That's a karmic degree. So something needs to end and something new should happen. So clearing some of the blockages out, work on that, work on your spending habits a little bit. Or what is your attachment style when it comes to money? Do you think that money buys you love, for example? Because then you are in a pitfall and you're going to have to dig yourself out of that. Okay, let's move on to the third house.
The third house rules our mind, our approach to information, communication of any kind, and it rules the siblings, teammates, and short distance travels. And third house in Vedic astrology rules our ambitions and desires. This is the house of desires, what you want for yourself. And third house also rules the courage and willpower, because we need the courage and willpower to make our ambitions and desires come true. And also you need to compete with your peers because they also have their desires. They want to make it come true. So third house is actually a tough house in Vedic astrology. And it's a selfish house because you want all your desires to come true. So in terms of the nature of Jupiter and Venus, they are not happy in the third house because Venus is a feminine and soft planet. So it's not really suited in a tough house, especially you need to fight and compete with other people. And for Jupiter, Jupiter is a benefic planet and Jupiter is very allowing. So it's also not a good ideal situation for Jupiter to be in the third house. But this is just for by nature. Together or separately, they can still produce a lot of good things in terms of third house. And Venus is a planet of love and luxury. When it's in the house of desires, you want the things for yourself. It can make you have unhealthy desires, like extra desires. You want this and want that. And Venus is actually in Vedic astrology, in the ancient text, it says Venus is actually a very cooperative planet. It likes to do things for other people because it's a partnership planet. So we do good things for the other people. But when Venus is in the third house, you can have extra desires and you might become more greedy, selfish, and stingy. So pay attention to that. But like I said, when these two together in the third house, it can still produce a lot of good things in regards to the third house matters. For example, you can be gifted in your communication of any type, speaking, writing, and you can be a quick learner, and you can be good at digital devices. And you can also be good at commercial activities and talents, for example, PR, sales, marketing, and so on. And third house is so much to do dexterity, doing things with your hands. So you can also be gifted with that. For example, like a carpentry, makeup artists, or web design, or drawing, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the nature of these two planets when they're in the third house.
Well, if you want to use this transit really well, it is happening in your third house, it means that you can make money through your communication skills. Probably you're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to be it's kind of like how you're going to sell yourself. The third house is in sextile to the first. So it's very important that you are able to sell yourself, how you want to market something. Maybe you want to be teaching. Maybe you want to be building better relationship with your siblings. Maybe you want to cooperate with your siblings. But I tend to be looking at the third house as the house of friendship as well as the house of communal activities. So being part of a community, building a community. I mean, from a transit point of view, Taurus is about building. So you can build a community. Maybe you just need to be coming up with a mega good material so that it can break through. I mean, remember Uranus is also in the sign of Taurus as well. That's on 23 degree. And the conjunction is on 29, so that Uranus is not that far. It could bring you a social media breakthrough. So money made from media, writing, teaching, courses, newsletters, PR, marketing related matters, or putting together a dating website, or just a website, selling, buying stuff online, or just using your hands and the discovery of your talents. And then you're going to put that out there in the community so that everyone can enjoy it. Let's move on to the fourth house.
Fourth house represents home, family, the mother in Vedic astrology. And it rules property, lands, vehicles. It rules our inner happiness. And it also rules the country that we are from. So Venus has directional strength in the fourth house. And that means Venus is very happy in the fourth house. And in the classic astrology, Vedic astrology text, it says if you have Venus sits in the fourth house, you can get many luxuries in life, vehicles, many vehicles, beautiful vehicles, property, homes, and beautiful ornaments and clothes. And when you have Venus sits in the fourth house, usually you can be very generous and have enough to share with other people. Because like I said, Venus is a planet of partnerships, and Venus likes to do good things for other people. So you have enough to share with other people as well. And Jupiter in the fourth house is happy. The fundamental meaning of Jupiter in the fourth house is that you get happiness from fourth house resources. That means you get happiness through your mother, through your family, through the family that you built, and through your domestic environments, and also through your children. And when Venus and Jupiter conjunction happens in the fourth house, you get happiness through building family or through your family of origin. And you are endowed with a bigger home, beautiful garden, beautiful decoration and vehicles. And maybe you have several vehicles. For example, you can have 2 motorbikes, 2 cars, a boat, something like that. And you can also have natural talents in decoration, interior design, or farming, herbs, or even permaculture, or Ayurveda, something to do with herbs. And you can have blessings and luck in property dealings, vehicle dealings, or your homeland. And your parents can be gifted in music or creative talents. So your early home environment could be filled with music and other artistic talents, activities as well. And both Jupiter and Venus, they are teachers. Fourth house rules education, because by educating yourself, you can change your consciousness. And when we change our consciousness, we achieve inner happiness. That's why fourth house rules education in Vedic astrology. And with Jupiter and Venus both in the fourth house, you might be interested in schooling, parenting, teaching kids, or passing down traditions or customs, because fourth house is the root. And fourth house also rules the emotional foundation, how safe you feel in this incarnation. And both Jupiter and Venus sits in the fourth house gives you a solid foundation to feel happy and safe in this incarnation. And so naturally you will have enough and you are able to share and give and nurture others. But the downside is that this combination can create greed. And fourth house is so much to do with conveniences like vehicles, properties, homes, and gardens, and everything. So there's a level of greed. And also, you may not be able to content with what you have. So just bring some awareness to that. But overall, this combination is very good in the fourth house. Both of them, they're happy in the fourth house.
From the transit point of view, this could talk to you about wanting to live a happier life, and then you're gonna actually increase the number of family members. So it's great for giving birth or even getting married or inviting someone into your home, moving together with someone. It promotes emotional happiness, emotional harmony. But also it might be some type of investment, for example, into your surrounding, like you want to be renovating your home a little bit. It might be about that you want to be selling a home, buying a home. It might be that, as I said, you are welcoming a new member into your home, and then you're going to have to make somehow space, like for a baby, and decorating a room and so forth. Some of you might want to start a real estate industry, or you want to be doing some property related investments as well, which, to be honest, I think it's not necessarily a bad idea in the next couple of years, because I think the property prices will gradually go down. So therefore, when it goes down, it's worth investing, especially between 26 to 28. To be precise, this is going to be happening there. But about that later on in a different video. So the fourth house is something to do with your fixed assets, so you can make money out of those. Let's go on to the fifth.
Okay. So fifth house rules creative expressions, intelligence, children, creative artistic talents, entertainment, and it rules past life good karmas in Vedic astrology. The reason it rules past life good karma is because they believe if you have a benefic planet in the fifth house, you are coming this lifetime with the knowledge that you have already accumulated in past lifetimes, and you're coming here with that knowledge and wisdom, and that knowledge and wisdom can guide you through your path. And also with that foundation, you can branch out and then started exploring something else. So you have natural experiences, not just from this lifetime, but from previous lifetimes. So that's why it's a past life good karma. And Venus is a planet of loving and peace. So in classical Vedic astrology texts, it says if you have Venus sits in the fifth house, you can have close relationship with children, because Venus cares about kids and also loving and caring. And Venus is a planet of receptivity, like how well you receive. Because feminine energy is about receiving, masculine energy is about inceptive, like initiating something more exciting. But receptivity is different, it's about receiving. So that means when you have Venus sits in the fifth house, you're able to receive knowledge. So that means you can be quite intelligent with these placements. And fifth house is the house of past life good karmas. For Venus and Jupiter, they're both happy in this house. Particularly Jupiter is the planet of positivity and luck when it's in the fifth house, because it's a 12 houses away from six. We're counting from sixth house and it's 12 houses away. And sixth house is so much to do with hassle, difficulties, competition, struggles. So when you have Jupiter in the fifth house or Venus or both together, it alleviates a lot of major stress, struggles, and suffering in life. And when also when this conjunction happens in the fifth house, this is good for people in education or in teaching in any capacity, because Jupiter makes you a natural teacher. And you don't have to be a trained teacher, but people like to seek out advice from you. And no matter what profession you have, you prefer to have some kind of aspects of your job where you are able to give instructions, guidance, and even counseling other people. And like I said, Venus sits in the fifth house because you care about your students and followers. So you can, if you're in any teaching, any capacity, like internet or internet influencer or podcast, you can develop loyal followers. And the downside for this combination is that fifth house is about pleasures, holidays, and having fun. So you might be having too much fun and pleasures, and you might be distracted from spiritual learning and development.
Mhm. Well, from a transit point of view, if you want to make the most of this combination, I would say that look at your creative outlets. It's about giving birth to a product. And sometimes it happens through artistic endeavors, such as you want to write music, you want to play an instrument, and then you might want to be investing into that. You might want to be cracking jokes on a stage. So it's so much to do with entertainment industry. But also it could talk to you about that this position is going to be enhancing your love life, getting together with someone, starting dating, for example. It could indicate that you are going to be gaining financial security through teaching, investments. Remember, with this house, you're going to have to take a risk on yourself. It's so important. Carien said something like Venus loves spending time here. Now, that's the same principle in Western astrology as well, because this is the planetary joy of Venus. And the planetary joy of Jupiter is actually the 11th house. So the 5th and 11th house are something to do with luck. But the luck comes in many shapes and forms. So we can play the lottery ticket, we can gamble with these houses, but the most important part is that you have to take a risk on yourself. You're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone and try something that is really dear to your heart. Because this is the house which is connected to the heart desire. And when we do something that is warm in our heart, then our heart is singing, and all of a sudden we attract abundant energies. When you are dwelling in your pain and so on, unfortunately, this house is not going to do any good for you. So positive mindset is going to be a major key for those who have got this transit going through their fifth house. Let's move on to the sixth.
Okay. So the sixth house rules hustle, work, lifestyles, everyday activities. And it's a house of conflicts, litigation, imbalanced situations. It rules debts, disagreements, disease, and doing the service to other people. That's why it rules work, because we're doing the service to other people. So you can see that sixth house is a hard and also a tough house, just like third house. And sixth house, you need to deal with hassle, trouble, opponents, and competition. And Venus is the soft and feminine planets. Softness and femininity are not equipped in the hard house, because in this house, you need to fight and compete and work and make efforts. So that's why by nature, Venus is not doing great in sixth house. And Jupiter is a planet of allowing things to unfold. It's not ideal for Jupiter to be in the sixth house either, because when it comes to disease, you don't want to allow things to unfold. You want to fight and you want solutions immediately. But still, these two planets, they can still produce something good in regards to sixth house things. For example, Venus in the sixth house, you can have love and compassion for small animals, because sixth house rules small animals. And also it rules the poor, the sick, and people in trouble situation. So when you have Venus sitting in the sixth house, it's actually, you become a very caring and loving person. So you can become an excellent social worker, or maybe in medical care. And Jupiter is very allowing. So like I said, it's not very productive when it comes to solving problems. But Jupiter is a planet of wisdom. So you can have a natural interest in medical knowledge or chemistry or something related to health, diets, and stuff like that. So people have this combination, Jupiter and Venus sit in the sixth house, and need to bring more awareness to situations where they might act too soft and allow things to unfold without intervention. But it really depends on the whole chart, because you might have a very strong and determined Mars, or very strong exalted Saturn to help you to tackle difficulties in life.
Well, this is the planetary joy of Mars. So obviously in Western astrology, Mars and Venus are natural enemies. So I definitely agree this is not a great placement for Venus. We call Jupiter as the guardian angel. So when it meets up Venus in this house, it's going to be all about promoting a healthier lifestyle. And this is how you can make the best use of it. Go on a diet, start some type of new eating habits. It's about cutting out certain type of habits that are not serving your needs anymore. Do you want to give up smoking? Do you want to cut out sugar? Watch out with Venus and Jupiter, because this is the excessive eating habit constellation. So it's very easy to crave for sugar, cakes, diabetes problems. So you're going to have to be able to manage those. You're going to have to kind of bring them down to earth, right? Taurus. So a little bit grounding these type of problems. But yeah, from a luck point of view, this is all about having a luck at your workplace, maybe a harmonious work condition, or even it would indicate that you are applying for a job and then you're going to get accepted to it. You can have luck just by being in service to the underprivileged people. You never know when that luck is, or when that kind of like help which you did gracefully or graciously to someone gonna come back to you. This could be talking to you about a sudden turnaround in your medical healing, for example. Or yes, you can become a social worker with this, or you might even be able to open an animal business or an animal shop if that's something you want to. But if you are a healing practitioner, then this conjunction might help you to boost your career department by being able to reach more people. So good luck with that sixth house. Let's move on to the seventh.
Seventh house is the partnerships, romantic and business partnerships, and it rules marriage, trading, negotiations, bargaining. And seventh house is the house of other people. So it rules our interaction with other people, whether you have a good interaction with other people or you fight with other people. They all belong to seventh house. And Venus likes to cooperate, to relate with others. So when it's in the house of exchange with other people, it brings wealth. Why? Because Venus is a planet which is good at commerce, commercial activities and exchanging and trading, and in the house of exchange. So you can be gifted with business talents. So therefore, it brings wealth. And Jupiter is a planet of growth and increase. Seventh house is the house of creating something bigger and long lasting than yourself. Seventh house is actually, so in Vedic astrology, each planet has their key houses, and seventh house is actually Jupiter's key house, because Jupiter is a planet of growth, and seventh house is creating something with someone. So you need a partner to create something bigger than yourself. That's why Jupiter's key house, when you have Jupiter transit the seventh house, it's a beginning of creating something bigger than yourself. And so if you natally, you have Jupiter sits in the seventh house, you will have a fruitful marriage with children, because children in Vedic astrology is quite, it's a blessing that you can have. And also bringing life to world is a massive creative power. So that's why they emphasize, they emphasize children. If you have children, it's actually a blessing. And Venus and Jupiter conjunction in the seventh house, you can have more opportunities to partner up with other people. So if it's in the business setup, you can have more allies, you can have more clients, and you can have more business partners, and you have people you can cooperate with. So your visibility is actually increases with this. And you can also potentially have more romantic connections. And usually your partner can be quite beautiful, learned, and educated, and cultural. And partners can be teachers as well, because both Jupiter and Venus, they are teachers or counselors. And in this conjunction, Jupiter is amplifying Venus's qualities. So you can definitely be gifted in commercial talents and gain success, wealth through business activities like trading, negotiation, bargaining, business deal. So yeah, and then seventh house is another house of desires. So really pay attention to unhealthy desires.
Well, from a transit point of view, yes, it could be very beneficial to make new connections or deeper connections with existing people. Or if you have had some type of conflict which got kind of dragged on, like a legal case or these type of situations, then this could actually help you to settle that and then create some type of harmony. And maybe we're going to agree on a certain amount of money, how much they have to be paying. Or this could talk to us about a potential marriage with someone, or just furthering our commitments to someone. I think it's going to be very important with this from a financial point of view to make yourself be visible, because this is one of the houses that are connected to social media. It's an air house. So you're going to have to be visible in a way so that like it's client work, it's attracting students. If you want to have a client, you're going to have to make yourself available, right? So that's going to be very important. It's probably trying to attract, let's say, clients who have got the same spiritual or philosophical, humanitarian kind of view on life. And probably it's kind of like a little bit like you want to make sure who you dedicating your work to. And that could be really important. In negative ways, it could talk to you about being manipulated and attracting greedy people. And if you don't have the right self-worth, let's say you want to schedule a 1-hour reading with this client, and then they want, after 1.5 hours, they are still asking you questions. So there is a need here to do some type of boundaries, especially with your clients. Also, just one other thing, maybe you are able to attract more supportive people on a professional or personal level as well. And you might be meeting some very significant people in your life who you can collaborate with, and they are going to be helping you on your own journey. So let's move on to the 8th house.
8th house. 8th house is a house of other people's resources and money, and it rules the money that you share with other people. So that's why it rules like mutual assets with your spouse or with your business partner. And it rules the money that we get from other people. So that's why it rules inheritance, donation, or gifts. And 8th house is also ruling anything that's hidden, like hidden resources, hidden knowledge. And it also rules our ability to see and investigate the unseen, the hidden. So that's why it rules the research spirit. And in Vedic astrology, it rules longevity, because the eighth house is a life and death, but it's more like a rejuvenation and longevity. And Venus is actually rules reproductive fluids in the body. So for men, it's semen. For women, it's vaginal fluid. So when Venus is in the eighth house, the reproduction house, longevity house, and you can actually have a long life with this placement. And eighth house, like I said, it's about receiving money from other people. You get money from your service that you provide, like a commission, or you just get money from other people, like inheritance or donation. Anyways, you just get resources from other people. And Venus is a planet of money. So when you have Venus sits in the eighth house, in the classical Vedic astrology text, it says you can collect money with this placement. And Jupiter in the eighth house has similar connotation, because Jupiter is a planet of wealth, and in the house of getting money and resources from other people. So you can get support and resources from others, and you can also get inheritance with this placement. But Jupiter is a generous planet. So Jupiter in the eighth house doesn't just take, because the eighth house is you get money from other people. But Jupiter doesn't just take. Jupiter is humble and generous, so which is good. And Jupiter, but if you have this combination, Jupiter and Venus sits in the eighth house, you can definitely have luck and blessings when it comes to other people's resources. And Jupiter is a planet of wisdom and knowledge, and Venus rules what brings us happy. So when you have this combination sits in the eighth house, naturally you can have talents and passion about learning the hidden knowledge, astrology or mysteries of life, psychology. And with Jupiter's help, because Jupiter amplifies Venus's qualities. And also Jupiter is a planet of wisdom. So instead of memorizing things, instead of chewing books, you have natural understanding to comprehend those subjects. So it's actually quite good when you have this combination, and if you happen to be interested in those subjects.
Well, from a transit point of view, this could indicate that you are going to be receiving inheritance, tax rebates, insurance, claims, for example. This is giving you the opportunity to improve your finances. It might be about the mutual fund. It might be actually that your partner's finances are actually increasing. So that's possible. It could talk to you about opportunities through investments as well. So do you want to consider investing into something? I feel like from an investment point of view, many people will have a major breakdown with their investments, but that's a gain for someone else. So sometimes this Taurian energy is really good to sit around, wait a little bit, a waiting game, and then waiting for the right moment to step into something. This could also talk to you about that your psychic awareness is going to grow significantly. Maybe you do some witchcraft. Maybe you want to be actually replacing your negative thoughts with something more positive. Maybe it's about cutting cords actually with certain people who need to be cut out of your life because they are not serving your needs anymore. I like calling the eighth house as the house of shared karma, which means that when I get married, like karma is a straw system. We've got a straw, my straw and my mom's straw and my daddy's straw, and then all of a sudden a fourth straw is coming in when we get married. Obviously, the energy pattern is gonna change there significantly. And sometimes that straw needs to be replaced because it's broken. Maybe because of trust issues, maybe because of finances, maybe just the fact that, as Carien said, it's longevity and we've been together forever and there was no renewal in that relationship. So this is giving you the opportunity to renew something, to rewrite karma. Also, this could indicate just a little bit like exploration around sexual activities, for example. So, because it's a deep bonding house. And there is nothing deeper than allowing someone to penetrate into a secret part of ourselves that no one really knows. So it's about pouring your heart out to a partner so they can understand you better. But from a financial point of view, I would say you're going to have to consider some investments opportunities or some type of client work and trying to sell a service of yours to others, but go through some type of transformation, because the way you have been earning your money is not the way to go forward. We're going to have to make a little bit of a tweak on that. Okay, let's move on to the ninth house.
Ninth house rules the teachings from the elders. So that means your grandparents, your parents, your gurus, your teachers. And in Vedic astrology, it's more like your father's lineage, because the wife married to the father's side. So that's why the father is usually your first teacher. And ninth house rules our higher mind, belief system, philosophy, and foreign travels, foreign places, higher education. And ninth house is the luckiest house in Vedic astrology because it rules the blessings and how lucky you feel in this incarnation. And Venus is about partnerships. It's about doing things for your partner. And Venus is cooperative and loving. So when Venus sits in the ninth house, you could have positive relationship with those people, like your teachers, your grandparents, your father, and your advisors. And you can also get support from them. I've seen some charts with Venus sits in the ninth house, they get support, financial support from their father. So it's always good that you can maintain good relationship with your teachers because they give you guidance in this incarnation. And Jupiter is happy in the ninth house. The planet of wisdom is happy in the house of wisdom. And people with these placements, they have natural talents in understanding how things work, like how things work at work, how relationships work, how things work in the universe, how things work in life in general. So they just know. So they have, and usually they have more generous and humanistic worldview. So that's why Jupiter can give a lot of blessings and wisdom when it's in the ninth house. And Jupiter is also a planet of parenting, passing down the knowledge and teaching. And ninth house is also about teaching. So you could have a close relationship with kids because you like to teach, you like to pass down your knowledge, and you can be a natural teacher with these placements. And in the classic Vedic astrology text, it says if you have Jupiter sits in the ninth house, it brings luck in money and children. And ninth house is also a house of Dharma. So people with Jupiter and Venus sits in the ninth house, they are inspired to do good things for other people. They focus on fulfilling their responsibilities in alignment with their life path. So it's not just about fulfilling their responsibilities, like societal responsibilities or material responsibilities, but more it's about your responsibilities in alignment with your life path. So this is a very like blessed position when you have these two. And people with Jupiter and Venus in the ninth house, they are interested in bigger questions in life, like interested in philosophy, religious understanding, meaning of life, humanistic causes. And they have great passion for exploring different places, ideologies, and traveling. And learning higher knowledge gives them a lot of joy. And since Jupiter and Venus, they both give good and similar results in the ninth house, the only downside is the tendency towards greediness and not having enough. Like they don't feel like they have enough. And Jupiter's wisdom is overshadowed by Venus's material pleasures and enjoyments. And because ninth house is also about your dharma, doing the right things, the correct things. So you might also be facing situations that you need to choose doing the right things or just taking all the benefits or enjoying them.
Well, from a transit point of view, maybe what could be beneficial for you is to increase and expand your horizon and your knowledge. this is all about, let's say, going back to university and studying something that you think will be very beneficial for your career, because the ninth is followed by the 10th. So we learn in the ninth house so that we can become someone with the 10th house. But we do need a mature way of thinking. And sometimes we are forced to be more mature, and sometimes we are actually making that from a choice. So, often we go to the university and we party, or we drop out of school, we skip schools, and then later on we go back and then finish off the school. So that's the type of scenario what we've got here. A little bit of a growing up to do. We all have got something to learn, right? So surely you're going to learn something. Maybe you're going to travel, and then maybe it's a business travel. Maybe you're going to study overseas. Maybe the relocation is going to bring luck in your life. Maybe you're going to do some type of shipping or publishing opportunities, actually. Or it's very much about you have collected so much data and information about a particular subject that you are ready to share that with your audience. So that's why some people consider the ninth house as the house of YouTube and social media elements. For me, YouTube is a little bit more 11th house, but I understand the idea between the ninth house as well, because I feel like with the ninth house, there is a spiritual meaning of doing something as well. And doing YouTube is a little bit missing for me, just from that. It's about increasing your moral code as well. And it's about kind of like intellectually growing, basically. That's what you can see the most benefit from. Let's move on to the 10th house.
So the 10th house in Vedic astrology is the house of karma. So karma means your actions. And 10th house is the bigger things that you like to do in this incarnation. And usually it's through career. But more correctly speaking, it's actually the things that you like to do in this incarnation. And sometimes it's not your career. And 10th house is the highest point of the chart. So that's why it rules our reputation, our social image, what we are known for. And Venus is the brightest star apart from the sun and the moon. So when Venus sits in the 10th house, the highest position of the charts, Venus becomes very, very visible, super bright. So when you have these placements, Venus in the 10th house is actually an indicator for fame. You can be famous with this position. And Venus is a planet of doing good things for others, because it's a planet of other like partnerships. So you're doing good things for other people. And since 10th house is your actions, so you're naturally inspired to do good deeds for other people. So you can have a good reputation for that. So it's quite similar when Venus sits in the 9th house, you're also inspired to do good things for other people. And Venus shows where your passion is. So when it's in the 10th house, you have a lot of passion in the things that you do, or maybe it's your career, and you become a master of what you do, or you become a master of your career. And Jupiter is a planet of doing the right things. So 10th house is your karma, your actions and behaviors. So when Jupiter sits in the 10th house, you will do right, you'll do things correctly. You'll act with integrity and fulfill your responsibilities. So responsibility here is slightly different from the 9th house. 9th house is your dharma, the responsibilities in alignment with your life path. 10th house responsibilities, sometimes it's your societal responsibilities and material responsibilities. So when Jupiter sits in the 10th house, you will fulfill those responsibilities and you don't do shady things. And again, because 10th house is very, very visible, so your good behaviors, good deeds will be visible and noticed. So therefore, when you have Jupiter sits in the 10th house, it can also get you fame. You can become famous because of this. And the fame is earned for good reasons, doing the right things, doing things correctly. And Jupiter can also bring a lot of luck, blessings, and wealth to the activities you like to do in life or to your career. And Venus and Jupiter conjunction in the 10th house, both planets signify fame, good, and bright behaviors here. So people with this conjunction, definitely they can have a lot of blessings in regards to their career and all the things that they do in life, not necessarily their career. And usually their public image is well-liked, kind, charitable, and generous. And both planets are teachers. So despite their profession, they can seem like teachers or counselor in the workplace. 10,000 rules the work environment. And people like to seek out their advice. And they can also gain success, of course, through teaching, like education in an educational setting, or maybe teaching online, or guiding people, giving instructions, or counseling. And their worldly actions are very much about doing the right things and doing things meaningful and contributing to the world.
Well, from a transit point of view, it might be that you are traveling because of work. Maybe you are going to receive recognition for the hard work you did. Maybe it's all about that your education is paying off somehow, and then you are actually receiving your diploma, again, some type of recognition there. Maybe it's actually changing workplace. Maybe it's going to be opening up your own business, or probably, again, the visibility factor, what Corinne has spoken about as well. It's really important here. You need to be putting your best foot forward. You need to be coming across generous, approachable, smiley, and all those type of things, welcoming, so that people manage to fall in love with you. When you do that, then your client work can thrive quite significantly. So this is a nice position to have, surely. Let's move on to the 11th house.
11th house rules gangs, profits, recognition, long-term dreams, hopes, and wishes. And it rules our social contacts, network circles, elderly siblings, and the marketplace and the society. And Venus is a planet of money in the house of gains and profits. And the 11th house is the second from 10th. So that shows the money that you get from your career. It means your income. So Venus in the 11th house in the natal chart can get you wealth, and you can enjoy a lot of pleasures and nice things with this placement. And the 11th house is a marketplace, and Venus is a planet of connecting with other people, trading. So naturally, you can have talents in commerce, trading, business dealings. And the 11th house also rules friends, social circles, and you enjoy making friends, making connection with other people. So potentially you can have many also romantic connections here, because you are very friendly and also you are very open to people. And Jupiter is also doing good in the 11th house. Jupiter is a planet of growth and increase. And the 11th house rules money, profits, source of income. So you can get wealth with these placements in Vedic astrology's text. And you will also have a comfortable life with many, many luxuries. And in Chinese astrology, 11th house is called Good Karma house. I think it's quite interesting because it means you get all the supports and resources to support what you want to do in life, because 11th house is the second from 10th. So you get all the supports to support your career or the bigger things that you want to do in life. You get support from your friends, you get support from your elderly siblings, you get support from your benefactors, your social network. And when you get support, you achieve your goals easily. So that's why in Chinese astrology, this house is called Good Karma house. And when you have Jupiter and Venus conjunction sits in the 11th house, you are well liked by your friends, your social contacts, and you can have many friends. Like you can have friends from all walks of life. And you can also be gifted in making business dealings with other people, because the 11th house is a marketplace. It's a society, exchange with other people. And Venus is a planet of trading, and Jupiter amplifies the business and socializing talents. So you could have multiple income streams with these placements. And 11th house is another house of desires in Vedic astrology. And the 11th house rules so much about profits and gains. And Venus-Jupiter conjunction here can really make you want more. You can have many, many desires. And you might want have more material and social achievements. So there can be a lot of desires to be fulfilled. So pay attention to that. And also 11th house is so much to do with the society. So your moral dilemma is that are you contributing to the society, or you just, enjoying your benefits and money and profits?
Well, from a transit point of view, this could tell you to spend a lot of time with your friend ones, but those ones who support you, because this is a fixed house, this is a succeeding house. So it is talking to you about support system. It is the succeeding houses are somehow the sense of belonging. So the question is, am I belonging to the right group? Am I hanging out with the right people? Are they supportive towards me? And trying to find those people who are willing to actually give you the support so that you can thrive in a good way. Of course, this is a humanitarian house, so you might want to get involved with some humanitarian matters, such as, social justice, political matters, and so forth. But also it's about establishing your long-term goals. It's about thinking about your own welfare. Where do I want to be in 5 years' time? You're going to have to start planting the seeds now. It is about social media as well. So it's very possible that you can start a social media channel if that's something you want to. But if you just want to go on a group holiday, you might benefit from it a lot. You never know who you're going to bump into. So it could talk to you about socializing, a night out, hanging out with friends at a restaurant. All of a sudden, someone is going to get introduced to you, and then you just exchange certain type of informations, and that's going to be leading you to maybe a lucky moment. Watch out for too much pleasure though, because hanging out with the friends too much might lead to a bit of drinking or stuff like that, and then you get used to it. So use that wisely. And by the way, Jupiter has got planetary joy in the 11th house. I must say, my 11th house is Capricorn. Whenever Jupiter goes through the 11th, those are some of the best periods in my life, to be honest. Even though Jupiter goes through Capricorn, which is naturally a very weak position for Jupiter in Western astrology. So I like Jupiter moving through my 11th a lot. And last but not least, 12th house.
So in Vedic astrology, 12th house rules losses and expenditure, the money that you spend. And it also signifies the loss of energy, fatigue, like weakness. So that's why when you have Saturn transit the 12th house, sometimes this is the period of time you feel more tired, fatigue, and you may experience certain health conditions that demand your attention. Because Saturn is a significator of 6th house in Vedic astrology, and Saturn is also a planet that represents your relationship with nature. Not outdoor nature, it's about the elements, 5 elements in nature and the 5 elements within your body. And when the elements, there's no balance between these two, you get sick. So that's why Saturn represents that. And when Saturn transits the 12th house, usually you will notice that something about your health. It's not gonna, you're not gonna get sick, but you will notice that something about your health. And 12th house is behind ascendant. So it rules everything behind you. Something invisible to your eyes, something intangible, something doesn't have a concrete form, like ideas, imagination, dreams, and the subconscious mind. That's why it also rules something foreign, because something behind you, something you don't know, foreign places, foreign countries. And in Vedic astrology, it rules things happen behind closed doors. So it rules bedroom pleasures. And it also rules secluded places, isolation, meditation. And 12th house is a moksha house. And moksha is a Sanskrit word that means liberation, liberation from this material world. And Venus is actually doing very well in the 12th house, because Venus is a planet of pleasures, and 12th house rules bedroom pleasures. So when you have Venus sits in the 12th house, you can get good orgasms with these placements. And the experiences of orgasm, the brief moments, actually detaches you from your conscious level. So actually it takes you to moksha, liberation, another conscious level. So Venus actually brings good results in this regard. And but if you're not spiritual, Venus still brings a lot of good bedroom pleasures with this placement. And Venus is a planet about reproduction. And like I said, Venus is like semen for men, for women is vaginal fluid. So, and 12th house is the house losing your energy, fatigue, weakness. So when you have a reproductive juice sits in the 12th house, it actually makes you healthy. Your body has strength and vitality with this placement when you have Venus in the 12th house. And Jupiter is a planet of wisdom, and 12th house is about spiritual wisdom and liberation. So you can have spiritual growth through deep contemplation, or being in the quiet, secluded place, or through meditation. So it sounds like our retreats, because our retreat is going to happen in the secluded place in the castle, and we're doing learning things, and also we are doing meditation, chanting, and yoga. So all combination is very 12th house experiences. And Jupiter is a generous and humble planet, and 12th house is a house of charity. So when you have Jupiter sits in the 12th house, you could be doing service to the world. Seva. Seva is a Sanskrit word that means you're doing the service, doing the good deeds, charity work. But if Jupiter is ill-placed, for example, it's in debilitation and also aspected by malefic or conjunct malefic, you could be doing something dodgy behind closed doors. So it really depends on the whole chart. So Jupiter is a little bit mixed when it's in the 12th house, but Venus is doing good in the 12th house. And when you have this combination in the 12th house, you have natural interest in arts, design, painting, films, or something about bringing your imagination to life through photos, images, music, or writing, or painting, or design. And spirituality can also be a big part. Like you can be interested in spirituality, not necessarily the formal religious teachings, but more of mysteries of life, anything that can help you understand the meaning of life, or dreams, and so on. And foreign travels and foreign lands can play a big part in your life for people with Venus and Jupiter conjunction in the 12th house, because Jupiter is a planet that associated with foreign cultures, and Venus is a planet that brings you happy. So traveling brings you a lot of joy, and you can also spend significant time in foreign places.
Lastly, when we look at it from a transit point of view, well, what could bring you luck is if you escape a little bit, you recharge your batteries, you go on a holiday, you try to understand the meaning to life, you try to understand the spiritual consequences of your previous actions. I feel like there needs to be an element of psychological and emotional sweep out to be done in your life to start fresh, to start new, but also, you know, it could represent, for example, that if you see a therapist who is going to be helping you to block out your blockages, because you're going to have to liberate yourself from all the things that is holding you back. The 12th house in Western astrology is, yeah, basically, as Corinne said, everything that is behind you, so the invisible. But what's also invisible is your ancestry line. You don't necessarily know them, but you come from somewhere. And often those need to be resolved because they are sitting on our shoulders and they have got a very strong grip on us. And this is Taurus. So this is going to be a very stubborn type of energy that needs to be swept out. And we might need the right guru for that. Also, if you are helpful towards others, if you feel empathy, not just for yourself, because that's pretty much wallowing in your own pain, but helping others. And maybe that gives you the realization that, oh, others have got bigger problems, like not just me who is in the same shoe. This is about seeing things clearly. It's going to be very important here. It's very easy to get delusional with this. And also, you might want to be having some great spiritual practices, yoga, meditation, chanting, whatever you want to be doing. That needs to be brought down to the physical world, because this is Taurus. There needs to be consistency with it. There needs to be an element of a routine. And that could change your life in a very positive way. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you have taken away a lot of good information from this video. The Jupiter and Venus conjunction is coming up in a couple of months' time, so get ready, start meditating on it, because it's all about visualization with Jupiter. And when you attract the right thing, I think Venus is the law of attraction, Jupiter is visualization. So when these two meet, then you can create abundance for yourself. But abundance is not just money, it's experience as well. And that's what we are going to be hopefully giving you with Carien on the retreat, an unforgettable experience where you learn, but you also recharge your batteries and start some spiritual healing as well. Thank you, Carien, for coming around, and I hope to see you again.
Yeah, see you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye. See you, everyone.